Okay. All right. It's time. Hmm. We changed the world in history right here where we're from. It's no beginning to you and me, cause we're not done. In our city, in our city, in our city, we're not done. I appreciate that. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning again. Well, it's time to rise and shine. The clock on the wall says it's about 7:07 in the morning on this Tuesday morning. We made it. We were on the wake up call. We got a wake up call from the master above, the big airborne ranger in the sky, which means we got to get out. We got this day to do our best. You never really know if you're gonna get another day. You know that, right? So you have to do your best every day, um, because you don't know when it's your last day. So let's get out of bed. Let's get motivated. Let's make a difference in somebody's life, especially your own. Okay. So also in somebody else's. Good morning to you. I'm Kevin Elkins, and this is Decisions. We call it that because everything we do in life requires us to make one. And even when we decide not to make one, guess what we just did? We just made one. So you can't get around it. You can't get over it. You can't go through it. You can't get under it. You can't go. You can't. Everybody makes decisions. The question is, what do you use to make them? Do you use logic and reason and maybe a little compassion, or do you just go up to how you feel? How you feel? You know, that's one of the things that just kind of irks me. Well, I feel okay. Well, listen, we didn't ask you how you feel. We just asked you, well, give me the facts, brother. Give me the facts. That's all I want. Give me the facts. That's all I need. Anyway, next up, it is our daily bread, which is what we do first of all, first thing in the morning, because getting a word from on high, okay, is what we need to start our day. No matter whatever else happens, no matter what else happens the rest of this day, at least we know we started it off right. Like Admiral McRaven says in a speech he has, the first thing we do when we get up in the morning, we should make our bed. Because if all else fails, if the day goes to a complete disaster, by the time you get home, you will see a made up bed, and seeing a made up bed gives you hope for another day. So make your bed up this morning, okay? Make your bed up. That comes from the admiral and the sergeant, okay? So we need to knock that out right quick, make the bed up, and you don't have to do the hospital folds and all that kind of thing, but you need to make the bed up this morning, okay? First of all, you got to get out of it to do that, right? All right. So anyway, next up, it is our daily bread. And so where's my daily bread thing at here? Where is it at? Okay, there it is right there, right there, right there. Okay, let me get up. I knew it was there someplace. Anyway, so you guys hang loose, and we shall return uno momento. Okay, so don't go any place because it is a great day to be alive. And this day should be greeted with more enthusiasm than you've ever greeted any day before. Why is that? Because this day was not promised. It just was not. There's somebody who went to bed last night and didn't wake up this morning. So if the whole day gets rotten, you got that to remember. And that should give you strength for another day. Good morning to you. It's time to rise and shine. Next up, it is our daily bread, a word from on high, something that will change your perspective. I'll give you a new one. But either way, it's good for the soul. We'll be back right after this. For every breath I take, for the love that heals, and the joy you make in the tapestry of life. I see your grace.
All of creation reflects the beauty of God.
Our daily bread.
Today's encouragement from the Our Daily Bread devotional was written by David Roper. Desert Solitaire is Edward Abbey's personal history of his summers as a park ranger in what is now called Arches National Park in Utah. The book is worth reading if only for Abbey's bright language and vivid descriptions of the U.S. Southwest. But Abbey, for all his artistry, was an atheist who could see nothing beyond the surface of the beauty he enjoyed. How sad. He lived his entire life in praise of beauty and missed the point of it all. Most ancient peoples had theories of origins enshrouded in legend, myth, and song. But Israel's story of creation was unique. It told of a God who created beauty for our enjoyment and childlike delight. God thought up the cosmos, spoke it into being, and pronounced it beautiful. The Hebrew word for good also signifies beauty. Then, having created a paradise, God in love spoke us into being, placed us in Eden, and told us enjoy. In Romans 1 we read that some see and enjoy the beauty of the Creator's good gifts all around them, but don't worship Him as God, or even give Him thanks. They think up foolish ideas of what God is like. As a result, their minds become dark and confused. Others see beauty, say thank you, God, and step into His light.
Today's Our Daily Bread devotional scripture reading is from Psalm 136, verses 1 through 9. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods. His love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords. His love endures forever. To Him who alone does great wonders. His love endures forever. Who, by His understanding, made the heavens, His love endures forever. Who spread out the earth upon the waters, His love endures forever. Who made the great lights, His love endures forever. The sun to govern the day, His love endures forever. The moon and stars to govern the night, His love endures forever. That's today's scripture reading from Psalm 136, verses 1 through 9.
Let's pray. Loving Father, we praise You because You are good. Thank You for infusing Your creation with beauty and purpose, and for placing us here to enjoy it as we discover You. Your love endures forever. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Today's encouragement was provided by Our Daily Bread Ministries.
Amen. A word from on high. You know, interesting thing about that story. I really don't know how anybody can be an atheist. I mean, you do you know how many things that you must ignore to be an atheist? But that's a show for another day. Anyway, so next up, we honor our armed forces of these United States: Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, as well as the Coast Guard. Yeah, they are. I mean, trust me, they are a member of the armed forces. Just kind of we kind of forget about them sometimes. You know what I mean? But they really are. They're part of the matter of fact, there's 6 branches now. So there's Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. So there's 6 branches. And of course, we don't have a Department of Defense anymore because Trump changed that to Department of War, which, you know, I have no problem with that. I mean, you know, that's what they for. They are to go out there and, you know, and make stuff happen. All right. So let me go up here and show you ours. Let's see, where's this other thing? Oh, the meter right there. That's what. Okay, that's the one right there. Okay, what did I do with it? There we go. That's right. We don't want to run that there anymore. But we do want to go here, and we want to put our little thing there, our little commentary here, which is what we have to do, because that's what we do. We play our armed forces. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Space Force, and if I forgot somebody, sorry about that. So let us continue on with our show right now. So where is that? What did I do with it? Where's it at? Huh? That's right. Oh, okay, here it is right here. My bad. I don't really know what my bad means, but I think it means I stepped on it. So let us prepare to celebrate young men and women who, well, you know who they are. You know, Ronald Reagan once said, he was at Tenderholt, I think it's in France, said, where do we get such men and women? We get them right here. Prattville, Montgomery, Wetumpka, Mobile, Huntsville. I think when we need them, we'll always have them. Marine. You know, I really am like really that That's enough of it. We love you, but not that much. Okay, you all right, man? I'm good. Anyway, you know, I really am a Marine at heart. I really am, and I know people. You know, now some people say that who wouldn't have the gonads to actually be a Marine, but I did. But they denied me this one thing. This one thing they denied me. They denied me the opportunity to get me a brand new set of jump wings on my uniform. Because they told a brother he was too short back in 1977. Okay. So I had to walk out of the Marine Corps office, go down the street or down the hallway to the U.S. Army because they said, Elk Dog, you ain't too short to join the Army Airborne. I said, all right then. That's where I want to go. That's what I do. And ever since then, of course, I've been not ever since that moment, but ever since that year, I've been a certified, bona fide, tried and can't be denied U.S. Army paratrooper. Okay. So I'm just saying, although I had to give up my love of that Marine Corps uniform, you know, I just, and if I wasn't scared of getting a butt whooping, I'd go buy me one anyway just to put it on so I could look good. Of course, Army uniform looked pretty good too back in the day. I don't know, and the ones we got today look pretty good too. I don't really know. I like the color. I don't necessarily like the hats. The hats, but anyway, that's a whole different story. Good morning to you. How's everybody doing this morning? Okay. And you know, you can always call if you want to. It's the podcast where you can actually call and you know, give me what's on your mind. But here's all I ask: make sure that it has some tenets of logic, reason, and common sense. Now, if you're missing one of those elements, I can live with that. But if you're missing two of those elements, then the next thing you'll probably hear is a dial tone because I don't mind arguing. I don't mind debating. I don't mind anything, but I have to do it rational, people. Okay. I don't mind. Reason is part of our mentality for a reason. Okay. Logic, it's everything. Okay. Logic and common sense. Hey, common sense, you just can't do without it. Okay. I mean, you just can't do without it. I mean, you're going up to the store, right? And you want to go 90 miles an hour up to the store, and it's like half a block up the road. Don't make much sense to go 90 miles an hour, half a block up the road. Do it. No, it doesn't. Because you're going to kill somebody, kill yourself, and you're going to go to jail. So get in the car a little early. Go down there a little bit, you know, take your time and just go down there and, you know, and take your time. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. So what I got? It looks like I got a text here. Oh, somebody says. Anyway, so let us shall we say continue on with today's story. Okay. And there are a lot of stories. There are a lot of stories of today. And one of the things that and I don't listen. I'm not blaming anybody personally for the crime that's going on in our city. No, the only people who are actually we can blame is for the people that are doing the crime. Okay. But I figured it out. I have figured it out. There is a conspiracy in America. Okay. There's a conspiracy in America, and we want certain groups of people to be crazy. There's just no other reasonable explanation for the things that go on in our urban cities. We want, okay, and Montgomery is becoming one of those urban cities now. I hate to say it, but we want a certain group of people so we can put people in these nice prisons that they are coming. And the sad thing about it, we don't even see it. I mean, when you get people, and education is probably the most important factor that isn't out there. And how I know that it is a conspiracy of our education system, and they may listen, they may not even know that they're participating in it. I mean, they may not know. They may not know that they are participating. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not blaming the Democrats, but I am blaming the Democratic philosophy, okay, and the mantra. I am blaming them because I believe that there are people. Okay. Good morning. That's right. I'm still the mayor of the airways of the podcast ways. So, what are we going to do about this? So, over last night, I took some time and I studied. Uh, there's this guy named Rosenthal who came up with a study in 1964. Okay, 1964. And since y'all like going back to 1964 and 54 and 44, we like that down south. We like going back in the past to bring something up. Okay, and the study is Pygmalion. Okay, Pygmalion study. Okay, and it is a study in the classroom experiment by Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson, which often dated the 1960s, and it's called the Oak School Study. Now, what did we find out? What did they find out in that study? Well, I'm going to tell you, and you'll see what's going on today because normally I don't read a whole lot of commentary and stuff like that, but I was looking for a reason why things are the way they are. Why we have kids who get a free education and a lot of them don't even want it. And so then we decided, well, let's leave those kids over here and put the other kids over there because what we can do then is separate them from the ones who are going to prison. Okay. So they reach into the classroom, pull out the smart kids who really are not that much smarter than everybody there. But there's a group of people, and I believe there's a group of people who are destined to be throwaway people. I really believe this now. See, I listen to a lot of brothers and a lot of sisters and everybody, and I thought all the junk they were saying were absolutely hogwash. Well, they want us to be dumb. They want us to be um, go to jail. I mean, I said, wait a minute. Who wants you to go to jail? Okay. Well, I have the proof. Yes, I have the proof. And we're gonna go through it in a few minutes here. But I got the proof. Yeah, I have the proof that it is a conspiracy to send people to jail. And the governor wasn't crazy. She knew we was gonna put a lot more people in jail. So we building $1 billion prison that started off like being a few million, now it's $1 billion. And I wonder how they're done with the prison. After all this time, they ought to be done with it. Anyway, the temperature outside right now is 72 degrees. High today, 94 degrees. Let me see. Anything else going on out there that we know of? Today is a 5% chance of rain. Sunny and partly cloudy. High around 94 degrees today. And winds light and variable. On tonight, a low of 70 degrees with a 7% chance of rain. So probably won't be any rain. Some clouds, low 70s. Winds are light and variable. And on tomorrow, a high again around 94 degrees with a low of 72 with an 18% chance of rain. But for the most part, we probably won't have much rain at all. So put your umbrella up, but put it in the car someplace just in case it happens. Okay. So now let me get back to my other thing here. Okay. The Pygmalion. Anyway, it's PA. Well, you know how it is. How do you pronounce this word? How do you pronounce this word? Okay, because last night I looked it all up over the internet and I learned how to pronounce it really good. But now I want y'all to look this word up. I want you to look it up. Okay, here's the word right here. I want you to look this word up, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, that's the word right there. That's a study that was done. I think Pygmalion. Well, never mind. Last night when I'm looking at the mirror, I'm looking at the word, I could pronounce it. No, I don't know what it is. My tongue's got all messed up. But look this word up. It's a study, came out in 1964. It is also it's by a guy named Rosenthal and a woman named Lenore Jacobson. Okay. Okay. And it was also labeled, it is the Harvard Test Infected Acquisition. Okay. Oh, Dr. Joe. Oh, okay. Hey, Dr. Joe.
It's Pygmalion.
See, that's right.
And so you had it right, but look,
yeah.
You're not going to get to buy me a hamburger because you know the board voted not to fire that teacher, right?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about the one who's involved in the gym thing. You
yeah.
talking? The one who said, yeah. I knew that.
Dead.
Yeah.
But you know what? They're going to give her a real bad punishment, though. Do you know that?
What they're going to do to her?
Make her teach in the Montgomery schools.
Listen, the guy called me one day and said, listen, there's always been a case, there's a Supreme Court case where they tried to, and they've already said.
But hold on. But that's a different kind of case. And by the way, the Supreme Court was made up of entirely different people now.
Well, that's true. That's true.
All right, I'll listen. I'm gonna call back if I have a problem with anything, though.
Yeah, I know you will. Because this is where you get the answer. Okay. Anyway.
No, I'm the one you get the answer from.
Well, I cannot lie. You're right. Yeah. But being an educator, are you familiar with the study?
Oh yeah. We studied about that in I think psychology of education,
right.
Educational psychology, the Pygmalion. You get what you expect. If you have high expectations, you can get. That's what coaching's all about.
Exactly. So why do we allow coaches to do whatever they need to do to bring out the best in our athletes, but we will not allow, unless it's a conspiracy, we will not allow teachers to do the same thing in the classroom?
I've told you this before. You know what the best subject being taught in the schools of Alabama is?
What? Football?
Football.
So, okay. So we want excellence in football, and that's the only thing that we care about excellence in?
Well, apparently.
Okay then. All right.
All right, bye.
And the study was a unique one because it those same kids, those same people that we have low expectations for. As a matter of fact, I believe it was one of the Bushes who said the bigotry of low expectations lends itself to our current situation in our society. The bigotry of low expectation. It was either George or George one. Which one of them said that? I think it was the last George, the last Bush that was in there. They got the same name, but I think they got different middle names. But they're right. They're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. The bigotry of low expectations, and so that doesn't leave you for the rest of your life. You will. Oh yeah. And again, I was right, as I normally am on this program. I knew that they were not going to fire that woman. Yeah, it was distasteful what she said. It was trashy, but it was not illegal. and not even immoral. You have a right in this country to say what it is. Thank you, great Pygmalion. Now I can see there. You got to you got to break it down to me like in elementary stuff. Yeah. Now see there. I can pronounce that really really good right there. Okay. Pygmalion. Now I got it. Okay, I got it now. Pygmalion. I got it. Yeah. Oh, there's right there. Yeah, I got it. Pygmalion. Thank you very much. Okay. Now I will never forget how to pronounce that word from now on. Okay. What is this with COVID funds? So instead of supporting education and jobs program, let's just redirect money. This is why they voted to drain the general fund. Well, the education fund, I think last time I checked, is set for $10 billion. That all that money does not go towards school. But let's get back to why what happens in schools or what does not happen in schools affects our society totally. Because you can go downtown to the jail and you will rarely find somebody that finished high school, rarely find somebody finished high school that goes out and do stupid things because logic and reason. But the Pygmalion study showed that if you have high expectations, which I should have an honorary doctorate degree in education because I've been saying this for years, you get what you expect out of people. But what we've done, can y'all forgive me for saying this because I don't normally say things like this, but I got to say it on this one. White liberals went into our schools, okay, and just emasculated intellectually our kids. And then they came back with another standard such as magnet schools here in Alabama because I know what happened. What happened was back in 1954 when Brown versus Board of Education was passed, there were a lot of white people who didn't want their kids to go to school with black folks. I got that part. I know that. I know why it happened. But why did black people start leaving the public schools? So why did they start leaving? Okay. Well, they started leaving because they finally figured out that their kids was not up to snuff with everybody else's kids. And in every school, I'm telling you, I'm just telling you the truth. It is what it is. Every school in this country that is low expectations and in the public school now is managed. I won't say owned. It is managed by mostly blacks and Latinos. Managed. And all they do often is make excuses. Well, they come from the post side of town. Okay, so did I. You don't have a daddy at home. Neither did I. Their mama's on drugs. A lot of people are. Especially, by matter of fact, when I went home in 2020, my sister told me, and I never would have believed it had she not told me. She told me that everybody in my family except me was on drugs at some point in the 80s. Okay. I mean, it's hard for me to be like, good morning, Teresa. How you doing? And see, Shamari's dad fought the KKK, folks fought in Selma. We're both of their parents Republicans. I don't know. But all I know is that we have to expect more because here's the one place there's one place. Okay, there are two places. There are two places where in this society where nobody cares if your mama was a drunk, if your daddy wasn't there. Nobody cares. The consequences will be the same. No, nobody cared. Your sob story. Listen, we pity you. We do. We pity. We feel sorry for your dad wasn't there because every child needs a dad. Every child has a father, but not every child has a dad. We pity you, but that's it. Don't expect nothing else. Okay. Okay. Don't expect anything else. Okay. Because while you're expecting something else, the world moves on. The world moves on. Okay. And this Pygmalion study has shown us it's what we do. Did we hide this from Montgomery Public Schools? Did we hide this from public school? Did the Department of Education take that study and flash it and put it down the drain? And these people, listen, education is one of the only jobs I know where there's a PhD program for just about every subject. Okay? Okay. Everybody walk around with EDs and PhDs. I don't know what I think an ED is an education doctorate. I believe that's what that stands for. I could be wrong, but I'm sure if I am wrong, somebody tell me. But one of the most important studies ever done for public school by Robert Rosenthal and Lenore Jacobson has been ignored. So all these people walking around with all this education, one of the most important studies, the Pygmalion study by Rosenthal and Jacobson, has been ignored. So what's that tell you? That tell you that it's not about excellence anymore. Greg, appreciate that. Right? I am going to be able to pronounce that word for the rest of my life. Pygmalion. I mean, that's great. That's good stuff. Because I was, but it don't look like it. See, it doesn't really. Well, I guess PYG would be Pygmalion, but I guess it now that I'm looking at it, I guess you might be right. Hey, here, huh? You wear the good is the good news. Give me some good news, and I'll put it out there. Give me some good news. I'll do that. The problem is that there's really any good news around here. I mean, somebody getting killed, somebody getting stopped, and all that stuff. And which reminds me, let me tell you. Okay, here's some good news right here. My sponsor of the show, which is One Stop Wireless at 3445 Atlanta Highway, right on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum Boulevard. There's a Shell gas station there. They moved in there and they're doing business. So if you need a cell phone, if your cell phone is not what it used to be, go there and see Sharika and all those guys down there, and they will help you out. They got great program. They got a multitude of different programs. So if your budget is low and your rent is high and you still need a telephone, they'll get you one. They even have boxes now. If you're already stuck it once or twice to the cable companies, but you still need some internet. Well, they got boxes there that'll put all kind of wireless internet in your house. Okay, and if you stick it to them, well, they'll just turn it off. But I'm just saying, you at some point in time, you got to pay some of your bills, okay? Or else you're never going to get anything turned back on. Light bill, cable bill, whatever. Anyway, One Stop Wireless right on the corner, and their number is 320-2988. That's 334-320-2988. Okay, so that's what they are. And you make sure you might go down and call those guys down there. They don't open till 9 o'clock, so they're not there right now. But I'm pretty sure they're headed there right now. They're probably having breakfast and stuff like that, waiting for all these people who's going to come in there because they advertise over here with me. Okay, One Stop Wireless, 3445 Atlanta Highway. Phone number is 334. Write it down. 320-2988. Right on the corner of Coliseum Boulevard and Atlanta Highway. Gas station there. Okay. Well, all right. One of my favorite callers. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Kevin.
Yes.
You did all this studying. What is the hypothesis of your study?
Well, I didn't study for that.
So what's their hypothesis?
Well, I think that what they're saying is that you get out of people what you expect. I mean,
so who is not doing the right thing? Is it the student or is it the teacher?
It's administrations. It's the administrator. Teachers want to teach, but the administrators of education in America right now, especially if those schools.
So what's the hypothesis? What are you saying? I don't understand what you're so excited that nobody's because study. What is the hypothesis?
Well, what I said.
It certainly can't be that the student, because they spend every damn day talking about their self-esteem. If little Johnny paints the grass brown, they say, "Oh, good job, little Johnny. I never would have thought to paint the grass brown."
Well.
So it ain't their self-esteem. You got 500-pound women riding around in their cars with what the hell, that diva on the back of it. So there's some problem with self-esteem with folks. So what's your hypothesis?
It's not self-esteem. It's not self-esteem because.
So if you're going to quote a study, you should at least dig into it.
Well, I did dig
be
into
able to
it.
tell us what the hypothesis is.
Well, I did dig into it, but I'll get to that later.
What's
on.
the hypothesis of it?
Yeah, I know. I just
anyway, Pygmalion, that goes back to Greek, where this guy made a statue and the statue come to life. You ever seen the movie?
He fell in love
My
with
Fair
her.
Lady?
He fell
You
in
ever
love
seen the
with
movie
statue.
My Fair Lady?
Yeah. I knew that.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But you've had enough time to look on the internet for that.
No, no,
Just
because
we've been
I'm
talking.
intelligent, brother.
But I knew it was about a guy who fell in love with a statue. I knew what it was. I just couldn't pronounce it.
You don't even know what the hypothesis is. You go come in and quote a study, you don't even know what the hypothesis
The
is.
hypothesis that you
when you do a study, you got to come out and have an hypothesis.
And again,
your hypothesis.
The hypothesis is that you get what you expect from people. If you expect little, you get little. If you expect much, you'll get at least more.
So what you said, the teachers don't expect nothing of these kids?
No, it's not the teachers. It's the system.
It is the teachers.
No, teachers can only teach. Listen, I know.
If you look at your study, the teachers were told these kids had the potential to be brilliant.
Right.
So the teachers taught to that.
But they were allowed to do that by the administrators. I'm telling you, right here in Montgomery, Alabama, I had a teacher tell me the other day that she wanted to teach them something, and she was told she couldn't teach it.
You should talk to a lot of teachers. Where do you talk to them at?
Well, I talk to them at school. I'll go to the schools all the time. I still go there.
Man, they need to put something on you. Be around all these children.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I could be a scoundrel. Good now. See you later. See you later, brother. I appreciate you. Okay. See, he didn't know. He didn't really realize I knew what the word hypothesis means. Okay. I'm not brilliant, but I can carry my own weight in the conversation. But anyway, and the principle about this is, and it always has been, at least since 1964, since this study came out, everybody knows what it takes to teach. So why can't they do what they know to do? Why can't they do? Because politically, it is not. Let me put it. What's the way I'm saying? It is not politically viable, because I'm telling you, I don't really believe they want smart kids anymore. I don't. They want to select a few. They want to select a few, and then everybody else by the wayside. Somebody's got to fill the prisons. Somebody's got to go in there and get that free labor. Somebody's got to make them license plates. Somebody's got to make that. Even in Alabama prison, we make furniture. Okay, so we're competing with furniture companies right here by using free labor in the prisons. Okay, I think it's called Department of Corrections Industries or something like that. So we're doing what other people can have a job doing, and we having these people do it for free. And again, there are a couple of places in our society where it doesn't make any difference how you grew up. They will not accept any excuse of your past. And there are two places. There are two places. The graveyard and jail. Okay? When you go to prison, you just get treated like a piece of dog meat. Okay? Whether you deserve it or not, you there, and that's where you are. And one of the fortune tellers of that coming life is education and the expectation of excellence. My mother used to tell me, listen, I can't give you much of anything, but you go to that school, don't act stupid, and learn something, and you'll be all right. Yeah, and she was right. She was right. I'm not brilliant, but I did learn how to read and write, and although some days I can't pronounce some words, but Pygmalion. See, I got that. I'll never not be able to pronounce that word. Okay, in the future. And the problem is, we don't have conversations like this because we're too busy breaking up fights in schools. We're too busy ducking when we hear something go off because we think it's a gun. Our society is getting worse. Even though we have access to more information today than we ever had in the history of America, we can find anything out in a couple of minutes, in a couple of seconds now, because there's a difference between mimicking and learning. See, there's a difference between, and what our kids do now is mimic. They go to the internet, they find the answer, but they don't know where the answer. And here's the question I've always asked people: is it important to know why the answer is the answer? Of course it is. Of course it is. But our kids today, because we live in a microwave society, we want people to just come up with the right answer. That's why teachers in at Montgomery, Alabama schools, and I imagine all over, teach the test. They teach the test rather than teaching what made up the test. Okay? So, yeah, sure, you can pass a test, but that doesn't mean that you learn anything. You can just mimic things. You can memorize things. Memorizing things is not learning things. Okay? It's part of the process, but it is not the process. Okay? And so that's why kids can pass a test, get a degree out of high school, get a high school diploma, and still be dumb as a brick. Okay? Matter of fact, and just to tell you that I know what I'm talking about, a few months ago, there were people from one of our high schools who took the ASVAB test for the military. The average score was 5. 5. F-I-V-E. 5. That means that if you've never went to school, if you just had some common sense walking around sense, you can get a 5. And so why would you spend 12 years in school to get a 5 on a test? I'm not going to tell you which school it was, but it was one of Montgomery schools. And so I'm saying to myself, so why even go to school? Why show up? A 5? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. That's it. That's it. 5 on an ASVAB test. So that was the average score. Okay. I don't know, but the Pygmalion study, it's an interesting study because it lets us know that somebody's BSing us. Somebody does not want our kids to be successful. Is it the system? Are teachers tired of fighting the kids and the administration? I don't know, but they don't. They do not want a certain group of this population to be successful. That's just, there's no other explanation for this. There's none. And if you can look up this study, Pygmalion study, in 1964, they gave students a standard IQ test, but wrapped it in a fictitious cover story, labeling it the Harvard test of infected acquisition, okay, to make it seem like it was special. After testing, he randomly selected about 20% of the students in each class, telling their teachers that these students were academic bloomers who, according to the Harvard test, were on the verge of significant intellectual growth spurt. In reality, they were randomly chosen. There was no real predictive validity, okay, in the test used. Okay? So, moving right along. I'm just going to go back. And you guys, see, you guys going to understand that I'm looking out for you on this. Let me see if I can get the rest of this. Okay. So, after testing, he randomly selected about 20% of the students in each class, telling their teachers that these students were academic bloomers when in actuality they were just average people who, according to the Harvard test, they were on the verge of significant intellectual growth spurt. In reality, they were randomly chosen. There was no real predictive validity to the test used. Teachers were not giving, now listen, check this out. Teachers were not given any other information. The only difference was that they expected certain students to do better. That was it. An expectation of these kids to do better, and they taught them that way. Okay? They taught them that in a way that brought more out of them. So At the end of the year, the students who were marked as bloomers, intellectual bloomers, like growing spurts, showed greater gains in IQ, especially, oh Lord, here's one, especially in reasoning ability compared to their peers. Let me say that one more time. At the end of the year, the students who were marked as bloomers had no greater intellectual ability than anybody else in the classroom, except expectation, showed greater gains in IQ, especially in reasoning ability compared to their peers. The effects were stronger among younger students, first and second grade, and then older ones. Teachers' behavioral changes toward bloomers were subtle, more attention, more challenging questions, which I've always said. Kids want to be challenged, more feedback, more warmth. The small interactions presumably contributed to the improved performance. And it don't take much. It doesn't take much to let a kid know that, hey, we care about you. You can do better. Okay. So now, and again, there were criticisms on this study, methodological criticisms. Some researchers pointed out that the experiment design, statistical analysis, and effect sizes of subsequent work did not always replicate the weaker ones. The results were most robust. Now, listen this out. The results were more robust in early grades. By upper elementary grades, effects were smaller or absent. Subsequent meta-analyses by a guy named Rowlandbush in 1984 suggested that there's some effect of teacher expectation. Well, absolutely. Okay. So the Pygmalion classroom, Rosenthal and Jackson, and then they redid some of it in 1960. They had a study from 1965 to 1968. In 1965, Rosenthal and Jacobson worked at an elementary school in California. They gave students an IQ type test purportedly valid called the Harvard Test of Inflected Acquisition. Teachers were told that the test identified students who were likely to show a noticeable increase in intellectual ability over the coming year. And so here's what they measured. At the end of the school year, all students were retested with an IQ test to see if the bloomers made more progress compared to their peers. Also, they observed teacher behavior, ratings of students, etc., to see whether or not teachers treated the labeled bloomers differently. Students randomly assigned as a bloomer showed significantly larger IQ gains than other students, especially among younger children, first and second grades. So again, what this is about expectations. You don't have to go to Harvard. You don't have to have all these so-called studies to know that if you expect more, you will get more. Okay, and that was so. Why don't we expect more? I mean, seriously, why don't we expect more of our kids in public schools? Private schools don't play that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here, and listen. Here's a guy, Mike. You're probably right, because schools are graded on test scores, so they teach the test. Even though the kids come up with the right answer because they've been taught the test, but they don't know why they got the answer. And if you don't know why hot water burns you, then knowing that the water is hot is irrelevant because you don't know. So why is it that public schools all across America, not just in Montgomery, Alabama, I mean across this country, go to any city in America where the school systems are weak, any city, any big city in America, and you'll find the same. It's almost like we are cloning people to do the same thing. You'll find more violence. You'll find more academic laziness because they've never been challenged to be better than what they are. Well, that permeates our society today. That's why we got 16 and 12 and 13-year-old kids doing crime, walking in the streets right now. Matter of fact, yesterday in Montgomery, somebody was walking down the street, somebody was riding a bike butt naked with all his jewels showing. I said, okay, hey, listen, He ride the bicycle with no clothes on. Now, personally, I would have found that kind of uncomfortable since I didn't have anything on holding up my jewels. But this guy just stretched his leg across the bike and showed God and everybody everything he was working with. I said, okay. And this thing about we're having more. You know why we're having more intellectual issues in our society today? Because we don't make people responsible for their decisions anymore. Okay, so we teach the test. Okay, we teach the test, and the kids know the answer. They just don't know why it is the answer. Okay. Well, let's say Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw, key study points plot. Phonetics professor Henry Higgins bets he can transform a cauliflower girl, Eliza Doolittle, into a refined lady by teaching her speech. Yeah, well, that's what. Okay. Well, did he? Did he do it? I mean, I've never heard that study. A person who talks against a system of education has a problem with managing a classroom. You see, okay. See, there you go. She's been indoctrinated in the problem. She's been indoctrinated. She worked in the school system a long time. She's been indoctrinated in the problem. Okay. Now tell me what that means. Seriously, a person who talks against a system of education has a problem with managing a classroom. No. The problem comes from they don't allow you guys to manage a classroom anymore. They don't allow. We in the state of Alabama, the law says you can use corporal punishment. But for some reason, we got a school system with nothing but women on the board, and they don't believe in corporal punishment. You have to use methods that are maybe non-traditional. And how has being nice to kids and put them in a corner, how's that helped us? I mean, really, has that made the school system better? I mean, so no. All we've done is put a bunch of wannabe thugs and gang members in a classroom together, and they come to school not to learn, but to create havoc and create chaos. So again, tell me how that somehow helps. Okay, so now and if you listen to their teachers, a lot of them say they want to do things, but they can't. They just can't do it. I had a teacher yesterday tell me, because I was at the Department of Education the other day, getting some education things for my son, and he told me he gets cussed out quite often by kids in school. This is recently, 2 days ago, but he can't do anything about it. I said, "What you mean you can't do anything about it? They won't let me." What do you mean they won't let you? They won't. This is Montgomery school system. They won't let him do what he needs to do to get that kid under control. Okay, now and this was just 2 days ago, 72 72 hours ago. So I talked to someone. So I'm not making this crap up. I'm telling you what people are telling me. And those same kids who are able to do whatever it is they want to do, whatever environment they happen to be in, then all of a sudden now they're out there on the streets of Montgomery robbing, stealing, killing, shooting, and dying because nobody has ever made them do what they need to do. Don, didn't I just get done talking to you?
Yeah, but let's talk about something important. My daughter lives in Woodmere.
Yeah.
And the little vandals went through the neighborhood over at Woodmere, busting out car windows and everything else. And you'll probably say this morning that our mayor, our beloved mayor, has nothing to do with making things better. But maybe you could have had a police car go through there and check the neighborhoods or something. You know, this city is going to hell in the handbasket, and our mayor's probably in Chicago trying to get money for himself. Is he even in town?
I wouldn't know at the moment.
But don't come on kissing up to him saying he can't do nothing about it. You can start putting people there and affecting people's lives. Maybe blacks, once their car windows get busted out, will start thinking something different. You know, that's why that one guy got killed, wound up dead, is because people got tired of their car windows being busted out. They asked for police. Instead of sending 2 police to manage the problem, they put one in the car and it turned out to be a bad outcome. But even blacks at some point are going to get tired of this stuff busted in and broken out and demand to have a mayor that really cares.
Well, I didn't say that the mayor. I said, let's get this straight. I say that the mayor, the county commission, the city council, all of these people are responsible to us for what's going on in this city. They're not responsible for it, but they are responsible to us because to do something about it. And I don't really know what they can do, but that's why they get the big dollars. Okay, not so big if you're the mayor, but that's why they get dollars that they should do. Truancy is a larger issue. Truancy is a larger issue. Got to be in school to learn. That's true. To be present, to be prepared, to be productive, all hands on deck. I totally agree with you. But why is it? Listen, I was scared to miss school when I was coming up. First of all, my mother was going to find out. And secondary, when I finally did get back to school, I'm going to get the wood. So why don't kids? Why aren't they afraid of missing class? Because they don't have to be. We got too many women on the school board. They don't have to be scared. Because all you're going to do, if they keep acting up, you're going to send them home, which I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, sending them home is not what they need. They need to go home. They need to go home for a day or so with a warm button. And here's something that's going on now in the public school system. Yeah, they're sending people home now for what's called what do you call that when you learn at home? What do they call that? Learning. Well, the word escapes me at the moment, but it's when you go home and learn. This is what they did during COVID. It's called anyway, learning from home. Okay, with the computer and all that kind of stuff. Well, some of them gonna come out dumber now than they were then. At least in school, we'll know what you don't know. What's that word? What's the word? Somebody out there knows the word I'm looking for here. At home learning. That's not what they call it though. What do they call it? Anyway, I can't think of the word at the moment. But you learn at home. Okay, you get a computer, you learn at home. Okay, I agree. The teaching format for a production of excellence is garbage, and it is. Do they show work doing with math and reading, etc., on the blackboard or scratch paper? I don't know. I don't know what they do. But what is that word I'm looking for? At home learning, cyber learning, well, whatever it's called. That's what they're doing now. Now, do you really believe that a kid who comes to school and it's online learning, but it's called something else when you send people home to learn that way. They learn online, of course. Well, let me put it this way: they get to go online, whether or not they actually learn anything or not. It's a whole different ball game. Let me see here now. Did I have? Let me see. What's my number here? Okay, for those who think they want to call. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
I thought Don said when we have a black police chief, a black sheriff's department, black mayor, it's everything ran by black. But then the little mayor gave us a white police chief. So why the crime ain't corrected?
Well,
I thought they were gonna fix everything.
Well, obviously that's not the case.
Well, I'm waiting now. Waiting on your answer. He always love to call you and tell you about the whole city's black. Now we got a white police chief. Why he ain't got it in check yet?
Well, wait a minute. Here is the question that needs to be asked. More important than that, why in the world are we in this situation where we need to worry about it? That's the question.
We know why we're in the situation, but he always put it to color. He always said everything was ran by black folks. Now you got a police chief that's white. Why he ain't corrected it?
because he's not in charge of the whole thing. He worked for people with a different philosophy, I imagine here. But the question is, we ought to ask the question: why are we in this situation anyway?
We know it's the way you raise your children.
Exactly.
What you have taught them, whether they've been in the church and got some morals.
I agree. So why aren't we teaching our kids in church? Why aren't we?
And it doesn't matter on color. Right. It just matters the way they're raised. Because white people doing crime too here in Montgomery. We just don't hear a lot about it. Yeah.
Well, again, we are 13% of the population of America and make up 52% of all the murders in this country.
Another thing, remember the gentleman that used to call you every day about the crime in Montgomery, how it was put? He trained the gray boy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't hear from him anymore.
But I don't know. But I do know one thing. We certainly got some issues, and it's got something to do with your life.
We know we got issues, but Mr. Your house racist always talking about color.
But
I want you to ask your house racist why we got to fight police chief now, and the crime ain't in check.
Well, one man, and it's going to take more than 3 days. It took more than 3 days to get here, so it's going to take him more than 3 days to fix it. If here's the problem, we're not willing to do what needs to be done in order to correct it. Okay, because I know people get tired of going down to the courthouse and all them black folks. Matter of fact, Sanford and Son had a skit one day, and the guy, so he asked me, said, well, why ain't no white people in this court? Fred Sanford said, why ain't no white folks in this court? He said, there's enough black folks in here to make a well, Montgomery's predominantly black now. So of course,
a lot of times they used to tell us they pay online.
Yeah,
they used to say it too. They play online.
But that's what they say. Well, traffic tickets they probably do because they got.
Well, I'm just bringing up the point because number one, the first thing when we realize that it's going to take a whole community to correct the problem that we have with crime.
Well, I disagree with that.
And stop putting color to it.
Yeah, but I disagree with that. It don't take a whole community.
Your house racist that calls every time they put black folks down. Let's try to work together and solve the problem instead of calling that.
But it's not going to take a community. It's just going to take somebody's parents, and somebody needs to hold those parents accountable for the actions of their children.
You told us, we said that forever. Then you tell us in the school that the parent can't do it when you get to the schoolhouse, supposed to be the teacher's fault.
Well, again, though.
But if you send me a child that's raised and disciplined,
right,
I can educate him.
Right. But I would be willing to go to jail to knock my son straight out if he disrespected me or any other grown-up. So I'd be willing to go to jail for it. So we can't use that excuse, well, I can't do it because the police won't. Then don't let the police. But like I told him, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to do my best to knock him out. And if he's disrespectful to grown people, I didn't, and never worried about going to jail because I didn't care going to jail. First of all, I got free food, free place to stay, and I've been all right. So, all right. I mean, we got to stop using this thing because I personally don't know any policeman, if they come to your house and your child is acting a fool, that they're going to put you in jail. Okay, at least not. Again, that's common sense, logic, and reason. Again, I don't know any policeman would do that. Now, if they come there and you got iron, he got an iron print on his hand or iron print on his face. Well, you might need to go to jail for that one because you shouldn't use the iron to discipline your children. Okay. But if you have a whip on his butt, whip on his arm, hey, shouldn't have put his arm in the way. All that booty back there, that's what it's for, to put the wood on. Okay. But again, we got too many women on our school board, and they will not allow us to paddle these kids. And even though the state of Alabama in the law since 1975 has been in the law, you can use corporal punishment if you happen to be a guardian or the custodian of a minor child. Okay, the law says it's clear, but Montgomery, we still living in the racist past. Well, we don't want nobody hitting your kids. Yeah, but then you hit them when we won't have to. You spank them, and the school don't have to. But if you're not going to do it, and I'm not going, and that's nobody's going to do it. But guess who's going to do it? The Department of Corrections. The Department of Corrections. Now your child's in there, and they're bending them over a bed at night, giving them the 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just telling you. We are so messed up in this state right now, in this city, but not employing discipline. Okay, that's the problem. If you want to get right down next to it, the problem is we don't employ discipline because dads are not there to do discipline. Mothers are loving people. We love them. We love women. Women are just nice. They're nice to be around. They're nice to have, but they suck as disciplinarians, except for the women who are made to be the disciplinarian because guess what? But after a while, your child is 6 foot tall and you 5'3", and you ain't gonna scare him no more. Okay, you can take a 5'6" man, and even if your child was 6 feet, he's still kind of scared of you. Okay, because you got daddy strength. See, because I put my oldest son, I put his butt on the ground one day. He taller than I was. Okay, because I wasn't even gonna play that. Okay, we weren't even gonna play that. But anyway, moving right along to other things. So what do we learn this first hour? We learned that higher expectations lends itself to higher results. Whether it's in public school, whether it's in life itself, if you expect more, you will get more. Now, let's talk about these 5 people that got killed over the weekend. I don't know what to do about it. And some of them were killed by knives. So it ain't just guns. There's an evil heart that some people have. Let's just talk about it. Again, they're going to get some discipline one way or the other. They're going to get some discipline through jail, to prison, but they will be introduced to discipline at some point. I mean, it is going to happen. And until we as a city, till we as a nation understand that Dr. Spock was wrong, then we're gonna be dealing with this for a long time. But let me ask you the question here. Let me just ask the question. Maybe somebody can answer it. Why is it that Valiant Cross takes the same kids and make them respectable, honorable, educated, mannerable kids? Why can't we do that? Okay. Because the mayor's in charge of Dixie Chief. So, and I didn't listen. If again, now I didn't run them off, but if you get ran off by another man, then are you a man? I don't know. Nobody's gonna. If I believe in something, nobody's gonna run me away from it. I'm not gonna run away from it. Again, why can Valiant Cross take the same kids? Okay, the same kids come from the same neighborhoods. And when you walk down the street and see them, you are so proud that they are part of our family. What's the difference between public and Valiant Cross? Because I don't think they beat the hell out of their kids either. I don't think they have. I don't even know if they even have corporal punishment. From what I can tell, they really don't need it, because you know the rules when you come over there, and the parents are involved. Okay, but it's the same. I would guarantee you that you can take. Yeah. Oh, I know why. I know why they are the way they are. But tell me, why can't the same thing be done in regular public school? Because we owe these kids a chance to make it. Because these are the ones that are today killing people in our streets on the weekends, robbing. And obviously, intellectually, some of our kids are just not that bright either. So we keep getting people. You can't read the newspaper without somebody getting caught at Elmore County Prison trying to sneak cell phones in and marijuana. You can't go a week, 2 weeks without seeing somebody going to jail. And they work at a prison. So intellectually, then there's something wrong. Okay, I mean, you know. They got things now that can look through your clothes and see everything you own, everything. So I'm just saying, why do we, and young women, young men doing this thing? Okay, so why can't we Logic and reason. Do we teach logic and reason anymore? Okay. Now, mass incarceration is a BS term. They're putting in jail the people who are committing those crimes, these crimes. I and Brian Stevens just gonna have to disagree on this. I mean, I agree with you. Maybe we need to put more people, but if we train them the right way, they wouldn't have to go. They wouldn't be involved in a lot of this stuff we're involved in. And listen, I can't run anybody off the school board who wants to stay. Okay, I can't do that. I can't run anybody off the school board who wants to stay. If you left because you wanted to. Okay, put myself in submission for what? Check yourself. Okay, I'll try to do that. All right, we'll see. Here we go. This is one. Personal morality is the problem because we have changed what it means to be right and to be wrong. Okay. Online learning. That's it. That's one of the things. But they call it something else. They call it in the school system. They call it something else when they send you home to learn online. They call it something else. I think it's called virtual learning. Yeah, virtual learning. So yeah, okay. Personal morality is the problem. Okay, then maybe so. I don't know, but I do know one thing: we do have a problem. And all these kids now that we allow to slide through the system are the same kids that come back later on. Okay. Oh, I got the solution to the problem. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows what needs to be done. We need to discipline our kids and if necessary, discipline some of our parents. We need to discipline them and have higher expectations for them besides making excuses for their aberrant behavior. That's the problem. I mean, that is the problem. The solution is simple. It is not the solution that is the problem. It's who will. It's kind of like teenage pregnancy. Everybody knows how to stop teenagers from getting pregnant. Tell them not to have sex. Okay. Well, we got the problem solved. Everybody knows the problem. So how do you implement the policy? Therein lies the question. Everybody knows the answers to these questions out here. Everybody knows that we got kids and parents out here that are just absolutely damn near crazy. Okay. And what's it? Morgan Freeman said, he looked at somebody who said that he looked at the child acting crazy in the store one day, and then he looked at the parent and he figured it out why. Okay, so everybody knows the answer to the questions, but we don't have the political will to do it because somebody's going to scream racism. And listen, that racism stuff, I imagine at some point it was really bad around here. I'm with y'all. I feel you on that one. My heart goes out to you. Okay. But if you tell me we are living in that same environment today, you are lying. The truth ain't in you. Okay. But anyway, now, and I have to tell you, now I thought I was tough on Z, but actually his mama was tougher than I was. So I took it. I said, okay, he'll know I'll knock him out. So he'll do, but he was never a problem. But his mama was tougher than I was. His mom was tougher. And one of the reasons why she was tougher than I was because I came up getting the hell beat out of me. I said, listen, we ain't gonna play that. But there's a way. There's a happy medium here. There's a happy medium with our kids because these kids are gonna keep dying. We're gonna keep killing people on the weekends. We're gonna end up out there at jail. And I tell you what, we're gonna go out to that new prison. And we're gonna think we got a family reunion out there. Okay, somebody's gonna say, where the white people at? Okay. Because we're just overwhelming the system with violence and crime and criminality. We are. And the question is because no daddies. Everybody has a father. But it seems to me that having a daddy is a big deal. And we can't seem to make men do that anymore. Okay, so now why don't we put some of them in jail? Matter of fact, I'm gonna call my legislature. Say anybody that doesn't spend at least 20 hours a month with their child is in violation of the law, and at least is guilty of a misdemeanor. Okay, and we need to change. We need to charge them money or put them in jail. I would say, hey, read. Okay, instead of taking our ability to take away our commuter tax, which I know nobody wants to pay more money. I don't either because I'm on limited income. I don't either. But we need a commuter tax, and like everybody else, 25 cities around us have. So leave that alone, and let's do the daddy time law. Okay, where you are mandated and got to fill out a counseling form. You must spend at least 20 hours a month with your child. What's that? 4 hours a week? Really? Seriously? We can't do that? Okay. Okay. And it ain't my fault you moved out of town. You need to come on back near your kids. Okay. You need to come on back at least until they're 18 years old. Hey, that is a great law. I'm going to have to pursue that. Yeah. 20 hours and you will be under the supervision. What's that people that give out the welfare checks? Yeah. And I gave you this is one of those solutions right here. You asked me about this is one of those solutions right there. We need a law where mandates that a man takes care, spend some time with his child, not just money. Spend time with his child 4 hours, 20 hours a month, 4 hours a week. Who can't do that? Okay, take you longer than that to make them. Okay, what a great law. What a great law. Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get them. Some dads only get their kids every other weekend. You can still spend 20 hours. I mean, if you get them every other weekend, then that means that's 2 days a week. That means you spend 10 hours on those weekends. 20 hours a month with your child. That's what you need to do. And I realize that. And maybe the court system could they could do something. And the 20-hour thing may be too small. Maybe it's not enough time. I don't know. But we need to start someplace. And if mama says she don't know who the daddy is, we need to put her in jail. We do. We need to put her in jail for abandonment. Okay. For what do you call that when you misuse your kids? Yeah. You are misusing your children when you don't allow them to know and to spend time with their father. That's neglect. Okay. I think I'm running for office. Yeah, I'm gonna run for office anyway next term anyway. So I'll put this law up. Yeah, I'll put that up. Okay, so I came up with a solution for the problem, at least some of it. Okay. So I'm just saying. What it says, it's amazing people like Dixie Chick will accept anything before criticizing anything black. Yeah, we do have a problem there. And I'm going. I'm gonna see if I can get Anthony on or somebody from there because that school is an amazing school, and it's got the same kids from the same neighborhoods that the rest of the kids are from. Okay, so it's got nothing to do with the school. It's how you run the school and what you expect out of this. How do you pronounce that word? The study showed us that we need to higher expectations of our kids. We do. Hell, we need some higher expectations of grown folks. And I listen. I don't eliminate myself from that discussion. I could do better. We all can do better. So I can do better. I mean, so I'm gonna expect more of my own self. Okay. I'm just saying, so it won't put it this way. There's nothing bad. Okay. Now, I don't know if I want to get into this one. Also chastise those women who have sex outside of wedlock. Well, they can't, you can't have sex outside wedlock unless you got a guy helping you. So, I mean, listen, we'll find out when that sheet is pulled off, a whole lot of us gonna be guilty. Okay. So I don't know. I don't want, and I realize under the Sharia law, that's probably a violation of the moral code. I think we owe God explanation for the things we do and not man morally. I don't think society has laws that we should adhere to keep us in good standing as a society as a whole. I don't know if I want to get, because what if I don't believe in your morality? What if I don't believe in your morality? What if I don't believe in the God you believe in? Are you going to make me believe the things you believe? I mean, there's some things that are common sense, and that's where law comes in at. Now, every law, I would admit, every law is based on somebody's moral code. Every law. There's not a law on the books that's not based on somebody's moral code. But yeah, we don't want to get in. If you have sex before marriage, we don't want to start putting everybody in jail because we'll go to work tomorrow. Won't nobody be there? no, nobody be at work. But anyway, let me see. The numbers here are 521-2963. I keep forgetting to put the number there if you want to give us a call. So I thought about this last night for a long time. I said, what is the problem? Why is it that we can't seem to get our act together when it comes to our kids? Okay. Why can't we? The Valiant Cross School is an example of noise schools that were, what does that mean? Established by Elijah Muhammad. Oh, NOI schools. Oh, okay. NOI schools. Yeah. Listen, I think from a societal standpoint, I think the Nation of Islam it's one of the best groups we got in this country. They don't even play sports, most of them. But they uphold a standard. But you do have to volunteer the standard. Okay, but you do have to volunteer to be NOI. They can't make you. And listen, a different stroke for different folks. And I don't think that we want to make people become part of NOI. Although some of us could be. Yeah, are you from your Facebook page develop? You know what? I came up with a program a couple of years ago. It was 20 years ago, as a matter of fact, called YLC, Youth Leadership Corps. And do you know who gave me more hell than anybody? My own folks. Okay, they gave me more hell than anybody, and I still got the organization. I still got it, but the problem is we don't like rules. Okay, we don't like rules. I had it. I had what's going on. I had the map president, Kenna Austin, and a few other folks were involved with, but I couldn't get help from the people. And it takes money to run anything, and I just didn't have the patience to sit there for 20 years begging people. Okay. Anyway, what do you mean we can't ask? We can ask them. Wait a minute now. The mayor comes on here once a month. He comes on. Y'all can ask him anything you want to. Okay. And he goes all over the town and other places. He even goes on 93.1 sometimes. Now they don't get to ask the questions I ask because I didn't quit. I ran out of money. Okay. So then I decided, okay, then what's moving us forward? Technology is moving us forward, right? Technology. So what we did was at the radio station, for 10 years, every year I found people who were in need of technology. And I went out and begged everybody I knew to help me furnish some to them. I couldn't get everybody, of course, but I did try. And we gave 300 computers away in 10 years, 30 computers a year to kids who otherwise wouldn't have them. And you'll be surprised that today there are people who remember me that I don't necessarily remember. And they tell me, hey, that computer you gave me? Yeah, that's a long time ago. Yeah, but I still got it. It's time for a new one now. Okay, it's time for a new one. Your computer won't work after October. You need something else now. But anyway, so it's not that I just talk the talk. I've tried to walk the walk, but you need some help. We need help, and mainly we need help from the parents of these kids. And one of the let me tell you what I had to do. This was a standard of whether or not you were put in for a computer. There were 3 categories that you had to follow: home, school, and community. You had to be good at home, a decent kid at home. Your parents had to write a letter about you. They had to write a letter to us about you, telling us what a great kid you were. That's home. School, you could not get less than a C, or else I wouldn't even look at you. If you can't tell me you can't get as close to the floor as you can to the sky, then you're not trying hard enough. So if you can't get a C in public school, you just going there eating lunch. Okay, that's school. And the last one is community. You had to show us that you did something for somebody in your community without being paid for it. So I had a program, and it worked for 10 years. And I had a bunch of kids that we helped. And a lot of people in this town gave me money. Okay. As you see, I didn't buy me a Mercedes Benz or anything. I actually took the money, went out to Best Buy and other places I could get it. And we presented these kids with computers and all kinds of things because they fulfilled my expectations of home, school, and community. So I'm not just talking the talk. I walk the walk, but it takes money. And we don't mind going to a blues festival or anything like that. But when I went out and asked people for money to help these kids, I couldn't hardly get any. But the people who gave me, I mean, I got money from everybody in town. I begged everybody because these kids needed a little bit of help, and we helped them. And thank God I was on that radio station, because if I hadn't been on the radio station, I couldn't have got the money, because people just looked at me as another brother begging for money, which they probably been right, but still. So I've done my part. Yeah, I've done my part in trying to change the lives of others, and we have. Some of those kids use those computers and they've been to college, and every once in a while, I'll be in a store someplace or something like that, and somebody say, "Hey, I remember you," because I don't remember them, because I'm so old now. I look the same, and they changed. So we do. I ain't just talking the talk, okay? And those kids and those parents, once a year, those parents had an opportunity to tell us about their kids. And we're so busy surviving. We're so busy trying to make a living that sometimes all we know is the tough times and the hard times. But for that one time a year, I had parents tell me about your child. And they did. And some of the things that these kids do that we don't know nothing about, and the hardships they've been through, we don't know nothing about, amaze me that they were still fighting strong. So let me tell you, I've done my part. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. And those parents who brought those letters to me, they wanted to tell somebody about their child. And once a year, with our business, it's called Helping Hands, and we still got the account. We're gonna try. I'm trying to do again this year, for our Christmas thing. We're gonna try. All I can do is try it. So I can only do what I can do. But we, as a people, sometimes we sure don't like giving up money, and it takes money just about for everything that needs to be done. Okay, but I'm gonna try it one more year. We're gonna try this one more time. So anyway, other than that, you always ask me what I did. I didn't quit. I moved to a different venue. Okay, I moved to a different direction. Okay, I didn't quit. I just moved to a different direction. Okay, that's it. I just you get tired of begging people to help. you know. Okay. So NOI. That's no. Okay. So yeah. It is. It's a great school, and one of their things. One of their things is that they believe in standards. They believe in a standard. They believe in rules, and you have to not only have the rules, but you must enforce the rules. I go to the school sometimes, and it says you must wear a belt, and your shirt must be in your pants. And I go over there and no belt and no pants. Well, if you let people come to school that way, even after you have it in your books, in your things to do these things, then and you still don't enforce it, well, then you're going to get what you get. Okay, you're going to get what you get. It's about enforcing the rules. You don't have to come over to a different rule every day. Enforce the ones you got. And I'm going to tell you something. People act the way they look. If they come to school dressed in nice clothes, they're going to act that way. If they come to school with their pants halfway down under their ass, okay, screw that word. Can we strike that? If they come to school with their pants halfway down below their butt, they're going to act that way all day long like their butt. And if you, as a teacher, as an administrator of these schools, don't say something to these young black males, those are going to be the ones that will be robbing in your house, okay, shooting people later on, because nobody ever made them accountable to their own selves. So again, this is not rocket scientists. You don't have to go to Huntsville and talk to one of those rocket scientists up there to understand the elements that are at play here. This is just not rocket science. This is common sense. The Bible says, spare the rod, spoil the child. Well, women on the school board don't believe in sparing the rod. Yeah, they don't believe that. Too many women on the board. I just, and I love them. I like all of them, but too many women. They think about loving them. You love my kid by teaching them. Because I told it when my son first started school in Montgomery, Emmanuel, I said, don't worry about loving him. I got all the love he needs. His mama got love. I got love. We don't need no more loving. What I need you to do is teach him. Okay. Let me love him. If you get wrong, let me know. I don't need my son to come to school and get some loving. He needs to come to school, get some education in his head. So when we're all gone, when it's all said and done, he can take care of himself. And that's what I told the teacher. That loving crap, I don't care anything about that. Love your own kids. Respect my child, but teach him. I don't care nothing about after all them years in school, you got all the love you can have, and you're still working at McDonald's because you can't get a job no place else. Okay. So I'm just saying, there's some lessons of life that teaches us these things as we live. There's some lessons of life where we just, they just work. They're lessons of life that work. Okay. Anyway, moving on to what else I got on here? Yeah, 5 people killed over the weekend. Online learning. I think it's called virtual learning, though. It's called virtual learning. So that's what we're doing. So you take a kid out of school, send him home, and say you're going to virtually learn, but then you might just put him out because he ain't going to learn. Okay. Because if it was the type of child that wanted to learn, then he would still be in school. So when you send a child home who's a bad kid, rather than put the wood on that bootay, he's going to be the same kid at home as he is here, as he is at school. Okay, and you're right. I agree with you. We ought to stop grading our schools based on test scores and let the teachers use whatever innovation that they have to teach these kids. See, I don't care how they learn that 5 times 5 is 25. I don't care how you learn. You can put 25 dogs in the classroom and take 5 out, bring them in 5 at a time. I don't care. As long as they learn the lesson. But evidently, Montgomery Public Schools and Alabama, well, just say Alabama's public school, you have to teach the test. You can't really be innovative about your teaching thing, okay? Unless you're in Birmingham and you got the LGBT school, okay? And then you up there, you can teach people that, I know I look like a guy, but I'm really a woman. Okay, then. All right, then. That's I hear you on that one. Okay, yeah. And a man can get pregnant. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right then. And an abortion, abortion is okay because it's okay to kill your babies. Okay, I'm good with that. Only thing about it, no child that ever was aborted ever came back to tell us what it was like. Okay, that's just what I'm saying. Anyway, let me tell you about our sponsor of our great show here this morning, and we want to thank them for where's my thing right here? Want to thank them for coming on with us. And I know about truancy. Okay, where's my nice sponsor right here, which is right here. Don't you know? There we go, right there. So, our sponsor. Now, when y'all get done with me this morning, you might want to go out to to the you might want to go out to the get your nice phone. Okay, from One Stop Wireless at 3445 Atlanta Highway. And you can give them a call on the phone, see what time they're open, 334-320-2988. We might want to do that. Now, they sell Androids, Samsung, they sell Apple. I don't know if they got the Apple 17 yet. Now, me personally, I'm not chasing 17 or 18 and that, no more. I'm gonna use my phone like everybody else does until it's paid off, until it's wore out. I'm not chasing technology no more. I'm done with that. I'm done. I mean, it's like a drug. Okay, or something new. Let me get one of those. Let me get one of those. Then I wonder why I'm broke. That's why. I thought when you get older, you're supposed to get wiser. But anyway, go see these guys. They used to be Cosby Wireless on Madison Avenue, where now they have moved. They got a new name, a new attitude, and it's great down there. And it's called One Stop Wireless. Okay, 3445 Atlanta Highway, which is right on the corner of Atlanta Highway and Coliseum. It's right there. Okay, right next to the Shell gas station. I know it's a Shell or Marathon. So it's a gas station right there on the corner. And you'll see them. They're right there, One Stop Wireless. I'm telling you, Sharika is the owner, and the guys got a couple of been working for. Really nice folks. And I enjoy doing business with them. I stopped going to the big companies such as AT&T, Verizon, and I decided to help somebody, small people in this city like me. And that's what I do. And I've been with them for 10 years now. And I have to tell you that I have been pleased. I have not had a bad experience with them at all. It is a great company to do business with, and they're local folks. And now, one of these days, if I get broke, I'm gonna go by there and put a can outside and see if they loan a brother $1. But great people. Sharika's out there. So I said hi to her husband this morning. Really nice guy. Also, he's bigger than I was, and he didn't look at me like he wanted to whoop on me or nothing. So that's good. Outstanding. Anyway, our sponsor, One Stop. And if you want to get a spot on the show, feel free to do that. You just call me at 922-3030, and we'll see if we can do something for you. But we're doing good business for them. So I just want you to know that One Stop Wireless at 3445 Atlanta Highway, right there on the corner of Atlanta Highway and what's that other street? Coliseum, right next to the One Stop. It's not One Stop. Well, One Stop Wireless, right next to the Shell. It's a Shell gas station or something like that, right there. But you'll see the sign. You'll see the signage. Okay. Again, One Stop Wireless at 3445 Atlanta Highway. The number is 334-320-2988. 334-320-2988. Now, y'all got any other problems that I can solve for y'all this morning? Well, I got a little time left. What is this? What's Joe saying? The first right is control over your own body. Well, you don't have your own body. And okay, all right, Mr. Joe. Let me. Okay, so let me ask you a question here. Then I'm just gonna ask you a question. Then, if I'm a prostitute and I want to sell my wares, why is there a law because it's your body, like you just got done saying, it's your body. Why do they put people in jail for prostitution? Because it's their body. They ought to be able to do with their body what they choose. I'm with you. So why does your profession, because all y'all a bunch of lawyers, why do your profession put people in jail? Okay. I mean, why is that? Why do we put people in jail if it's their body? Because if it's their body, they maintain 100% control of it. And therefore, what's it got to do? Who I give it to, sell it to, whatever the case may be. Okay, that's what we call hypocrisy. Okay, that's what we call hypocrisy. And I ain't mad at you. That's just what that is. Okay, it's my body. Okay, the first right is control your own body. I agree with you. But why do they put people in jail for selling their own body? Okay. If you're going to use great, okay, use it across the board. Okay, You sure? What did I say wrong this time? Okay. You say you created more nerds than Bill Gates. Not really, but we so why'd you quit? Oh no. They made me quit at the other radio station. They didn't make me quit. They made me quit my YLC thing because I just didn't have the money. I just didn't have the money to keep going. It costs money to have an organization, and anybody with an organization will tell you that all the intentions in the world don't mean anything unless you got somebody that can help you. Yeah, it don't mean anything. You can talk all day long. You have the greatest plan, but if you don't have money, well, you can't get that plan off the ground. Okay, but we did good. We did good with what we had. So, and I'm getting too old now to start it because anything again. I'm 68 years old, and nobody want to listen to me. Oh, what's the number here? Okay, the numbers right on the screen, Joe. Let me see. Let me make sure I get this. Oh, let me get. What is my number here? I get so tired of getting spam calls. I don't know what to do. Let me find the number here, my brother, and I'll make sure you get this. Okay, there it is. Okay, there are the numbers right there. 521-2963. So anyway, Joe, my good friend Joe Reed, attorney at law. He's the mayor's brother, and he tell me it's their own body. They ought to be able to have an abortion if they want to. Again, my question is, then why can't I prostitute if I want to? I mean, that makes sense. If it's my body, or is it only my body to kill another human being? Okay, it's only my body to kill another human being. Then something's wrong with that philosophy. Yeah, I want to hear this one. Yeah, let me hear this one. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want to hear why it's a crime to charge? Is that what you want? That's an easy answer.
Well, it's their body.
Sure.
So,
it is.
So if they can kill a child in it because it's their body, then why can't they have prostitution?
I don't disagree with that. Oh. But I'll tell you why they don't do it. I'll tell you why they don't do it. I'll answer that.
Okay.
Because because they don't want the balance of power in the household to shift. You think about it like this. Every skill set you got in America, you can charge for it, whether you're a doctor, lawyer, brick mason, plumber, whatever it is. You got skills, you're an artist, you charge for it. Sex is the one thing you can give away for free, but you can't get paid to do. Okay? And that's because men outlawed it because they didn't want to shift the balance of power in the household to women. If women were able to charge per act, per thrust, per whatever it is, they set a market. I'm just telling you what it is. They set a market
per thrust,
and men will be broke. Yeah, that's what I said. Which, of course, for you, Kevin, wouldn't be long. I mean,
that's
two and a half times in, you're out of there.
It's over.
You want the umpire. You're what the umpire said to the guy got caught stealing. You're out of there.
Yeah,
okay.
I got it. Yeah, it would be. But
you're out of there now.
But the argument about it's their body is just not a good argument. To kill a child.
I'm telling you why. I'm telling you why it's illegal. I'm gonna go back to this. No. You like to throw me off. It's illegal because women at a time were not educated. They were not employed. They couldn't do anything. They were the property of men, and they weren't going to put that kind of power, the power of sex, and the ability to charge for it, in the hands of a woman. You'd upset the household balance. A guy who get his paycheck on Friday, he'd be done. Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, he'd be finished. She'd have all the money. And they never wanted to. So what do? When people don't like it, you criminalize it. That's the American way. Right? Hold it over their head with jail. Put you in prison. Take away your liberty and your freedom. But don't get me wrong. If you want to go out here and have as much sex as you want with whomever you want, as many times as you want for free, what does society say? Go right ahead. That's not illegal. Charge for it? Oh, we got a problem. That's because it's a money thing. That's control in America. Money's control. It's as simple as that. Ain't complicated.
Okay, I guess that's some sort of a argument some kind of way, but that's still
It's not that. That's what the argument is. It's about money and it's about control in the household and who controls the purse strings in the household. Men want to make sure they could do it, so they criminalize the one thing they had to have that a woman controls.
Okay, let me.
And you think I know it's a little that's a little out of your reach, but you think on that for a second. You tell me when I'm wrong.
Okay, I'll let me cogitate on that. Yeah.
Yeah, you think you think on that one.
Yeah.
Now I answer your other question. What else you got? So Judge Price will tell me.
We haven't done with this one yet because
we'll think about it.
You've not made a great argument why I should be able to kill my child but not sell my stuff. We still.
Well, I'm not gonna. I can't argue because they're inconsistent arguments. The whole point about being a person, about control, the fundamental freedom everybody has is control over your own body. There cannot be freedom if you don't have that. That's a universal right to breathe. I mean, it's some things you just have. And control over your body, whether you have a child or whether you don't, that's individual.
But it's not your body that we're talking about. It's the body.
That's exactly whose body it is.
No. If you're the pregnant woman, child, that baby's a human being.
It's yours. It's not yours, Kevin. It's not mine. It is the woman who's going through everything to do it. You see, you ain't never been pregnant, neither have I.
No.
Okay. But if you know anybody, but women can come in, women can pick this on who've had children or who lost children.
Mm-hmm.
They can tell you the risk. They can tell you the feelings. They can tell you all of that. And I'm not going to substitute my judgment as a man for the judgment of the person who has the most to risk and lose. I'm not doing that because that's not my place.
Here's again. Is that
you overstep?
Is that baby a human being?
No.
And
not. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's human being at the time of conception. I don't believe that.
I like you put that, because when does it become a human being then?
Under what my belief is and what the law is. Which one is it?
What's your belief? When does it become a human being?
That's a hard thing.
Okay.
I think of it as a lawyer thinks of it. I'm trying to engage my personal stuff in that, but I think you're human when you get out here. I think you make it when you get out here. And you can say when the sperm actually fertilizes the egg, you could say it's the beginning of that. I mean, it's the beginning. But you aren't out here, so you're not part of the census. You don't have any rights. Now that being said, but your right only goes as far as the person carrying you. My right to be does not supersede my mom's right to carry me.
But you cannot say, right, but you cannot say that the body inside her is her body. It's a body that's inside her, which is its own entity.
It's hers. But it ain't yours, Kevin. It ain't the government's. It's hers. She gets to do it. Y'all not here to go through morning sickness. You aren't taking the pills. You aren't throwing up. You are, and when she's pregnant,
wait a minute.
You are the one with your life on the line delivering a baby.
Wait a minute, Blame
and if she decides at any point that she doesn't want to do that, in my humble opinion, she has every right to make that choice because she's the one dealing with it, not nobody on the outside.
Okay, so
and I know that was bad English, but that's okay.
We understand that. We can talk. But again,
nobody on the outside. It's an unfortunate consequence.
Yeah. Well, I don't
but think it's a consequence nonetheless.
It's not her body we're talking about. It's the body of the child. So that's
her body. Kevin, that makes no sense. Well, your argument makes no sense. It is. It's in her body. Whether she starts herself, the baby's going.
So why legally?
She controls it.
So why legally then, if a man kills a woman or hurts a woman or causes that woman's pregnancy to be terminated, they will charge him with murder?
Because the pro-life movement wanted the way they want to do it because the law hadn't recognized life. So they're trying to backdoor their way into getting the court to recognize life and conception when it's there.
And they did.
It's a backdoor way to get it. It was a backdoor way. It's a religious way. It's a backdoor way to get an abortion.
It's a logical way. Wait a minute. It's a logical way.
No. One says, no, I don't think that it is. But if you say it's logical, that's your feeling about it, I can accept your argument. What I'm saying is that from a legal perspective, it was not because the courts had never defined that. Okay,
if
we're trying to get courts to do it By saying, well,
I'm
by,
running
by,
out.
by, by saying it and not saying it.
I'm
Once
run-
she's
I'm running
pregnant,
out.
you
I'm
get
running out
charged
of
with 2
time.
murders.
I'm running out of time, but let me answer this one question, see if you can answer it.
Sure.
Define to me what life is.
The dictionary says about that.
I don't
Man,
know.
it depends on me. I guess it depends on what the quality of life.
I didn't say the quality of life.
Breathing.
Define to me what life is.
When you start breathing.
No.
Well, you asked me what I thought about it.
Okay,
So I
well,
told
you're wrong.
you. Now you're mad.
Well, you're wrong.
Okay, now you want to say now that you're mad.
No.
But I can be on this. I can be persuaded. I can be persuaded about some things, but nothing is going to. And I never really thought that through, except to say this.
Because my mind is brilliant. That's why I think about it.
You are very smart, except to say this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if the person, if you're dependent on that person, and if you're a woman, you have the right to control your body. Nothing is going to supersede that. The government cannot step in and make you have a baby you don't want. If they can make you have a baby, they can also tell you when you're getting pregnant and when you're not getting pregnant. And what comes down that slope, if enough people say so, they're going to tell men what they can do. Except men ain't going to tolerate it, because a man ain't never going to let a woman tell him what to do with his business.
Anyway,
he ain't never going to do that.
Okay.
But y'all got no problem putting that stuff on women.
That's another discussion.
But you have another discussion, because you know good and well you would never let a woman tell you what to do with yourself.
No. Okay. Hey, I got to run. Time's up, man. It's 9 o'clock, right? I didn't know that. Well, listen, we'll be back tomorrow. The good Lord says the same. Think about this. Define life. We'll talk about that tomorrow. What is life? I got the perfect definition of life. Cannot be disputed. Well, my time's up. We'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget that it is not the falling that makes you wrong, but it's the getting up each and every time you do. So keep getting up. We'll see you tomorrow, the good Lord said. Have a great day. Oh, have I forgot anything? I don't think I have. Yeah, see you. Wouldn't want to be you.
Your faith a beacon in the sky. Every trial with lessons wrapped tight.